In the sun-drenched kingdom of Elara lived Princess Aurelia. She wasn't the kind of princess who sat by a window and embroidered pillows. Aurelia had hair the color of midnight, tied back in a practical braid, and eyes full of a fiery curiosity. She spent her days studying maps of faraway lands and practicing with a wooden sword in the royal gardens, much to the dismay of her tutors. Her greatest friend was a parrot named Corvus. He was no ordinary parrot. His feathers were a brilliant emerald green, and his eyes held a sharp, knowing intelligence. He didn't just squawk, "Polly wants a cracker," he complained. "Must you swing that stick so wildly?" He'd grumble from a branch. "You nearly clipped my tail feathers." One rainy afternoon, as Aurelia traced a route to the mysterious shivering mountains on a map, Corvus sighed dramatically. "That used to be my route to the summer palace," he said sadly. Aurelia looked up. "What are you talking about, Corvus? You're a parrot!" Corvus flew down and landed on her desk, his little claws clicking on the polished wood. "No, Aurelia, I am not. I was Prince Corvus of the Emerald Kingdom." Aurelia's eyes went wide. "A wicked witch named Malvexa wanted the magic of my family's moon petal garden," he explained, his voice low. "When I refused to give it to her, she cackled and turned me into this, a feathered grump." He ruffled his feathers in annoyance. "She said the curse could only be broken by a potion made of 3 things: a tear from the eye of a laughing gargoyle, a single spark from the heart of a sleeping volcano, and the final note of a song sung by the echoing sirens." Aurelia's heart didn't fill with fear. It filled with excitement. An impossible quest, a prince to save! This was better than any map. "Then we shall do it," she declared, rolling up the chart. "We'll break this curse." "We?" squawked Corvus. "It's horribly dangerous. There are cliffs and monsters and pointy rocks. And adventure!" Aurelia grinned. That very night, they snuck out of the castle. First, they journeyed to the city of Stonehaven, where ancient gargoyles decorated the highest towers. But how to make a stone statue laugh? Aurelia tried telling jokes. The gargoyle remained stony-faced. She tried making funny faces. Nothing. Corvus, perched on her shoulder, rolled his eyes. "You're doing it all wrong." He flew up to the gargoyle's large stone ear and began whispering. Aurelia couldn't hear what he said, but after a moment, a low, rumbling chuckle started deep within the stone. The gargoyle's mouth creaked open in a wide grin, and a single shimmering tear, as bright as a diamond, rolled down its cheek. Aurelia caught it carefully in a tiny crystal vial. "What did you tell him?" she asked, amazed. "An embarrassing story about the king of Stonehaven from 200 years ago," Corvus said smugly. "Gargoyles have very long memories." Next was the sleeping volcano, Mount Cinder. The air grew hot and smelled of sulfur as they climbed. Deep inside the crater, the ground glowed with a faint red light. "The heart of the volcano is down there," Corvus whispered nervously, pointing a wing towards a deep fissure. "But how do we get a spark without waking it up?" Aurelia looked at her climbing rope. It would burn. She looked at the sharp, glassy rocks around them. An idea sparked in her own mind. She found a long, thin shard of obsidian and tied it to the end of her rope. "I need you to be my eyes, Corvus," she said. Carefully, she lowered the shard into the fissure. "Tell me when I'm close to the brightest part." "Left! A little to the left! Now down! Down! Stop!" he shrieked. Aurelia gently scraped the obsidian against the glowing heart of the volcano. Whoosh! A single brilliant orange spark flew up and landed on a flat rock beside her. It glowed with steady warmth. Using a pair of iron tongs from her pack, she placed the magical spark into a special fireproof box. Their final challenge was the most dangerous: the Sea of Whispers, home of the echoing sirens. Their songs were so beautiful they could lure sailors to crash their ships on the rocks. They built a small raft and pushed out into the misty sea. Soon, a hauntingly beautiful song drifted towards them. Aurelia felt her arms grow heavy, her mind fuzzy. She wanted nothing more than to sail towards that lovely sound. "Aurelia, no!" Corvus squawked, nipping her ear. "You have to resist!" He began to screech the most awful, out-of-tune parrot song she had ever heard. "Squawk! Polly wants a cracker, and a fish, and a pony, squawk." His terrible singing was just jarring enough to break the siren's spell. Aurelia shook her head clear. But how could they capture the final note? They only finish their song when they think they have won, Aurelia realized. She grabbed the helm and steered the raft straight towards the jagged rocks where the sirens sat. "Are you crazy?" Corvus screeched, clinging to her shoulder for dear life. "Trust me," she yelled back. The sirens, seeing the raft approach, sang their triumphant, final, beautiful note. As the pure, perfect sound hung in the air, Aurelia expertly turned the raft at the last second, scraping past the rocks. She held up a magical conch shell she had found on the shore, and it caught the echo of that final note, sealing it inside with a soft glow. They had all three ingredients. On a safe, sandy beach, Aurelia mixed them. She poured the gargoyle's tear into the fireproof box with the volcano's spark. The spark hissed and dissolved. Then, she opened the conch shell, and the final note of the siren's song flowed out, swirling with the tear water into a shimmering emerald green liquid. "This is it," she whispered, her heart pounding. With a shaking talon, Corvus took the vial and drank the potion. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a brilliant green light exploded from him, wrapping him in a warm glow. The light grew, shifting and changing. When it faded, the parrot was gone. In his place stood a tall, handsome prince with kind eyes and the same emerald green tunic Corvus had worn as a parrot. He looked at his hands, then at Aurelia, a look of pure joy on his face. "You did it," he breathed. "You saved me." But their adventure wasn't over. From the shadows of the cliffs, a figure emerged. It was the witch Malvexa, her face twisted in a sneer. "My pretty parrot," she cackled. "I thought I'd let you finish your little quest before I took you back." She raised her staff, but Prince Corvus stood in front of Aurelia, drawing a sword that now hung at his belt. "You will not harm her," he said, his voice ringing with royal command. Aurelia wasn't about to hide. While Corvus engaged the witch, she saw Malvexa's spellbook lying on a rock. Remembering the gargoyle, she ran over, grabbed the book, and started reading the most boring passages about magical theory in a loud, monotone voice. Malvexa, distracted by the duel and annoyed by the droning, glanced over. "Hey! That's private!" she snapped. That single moment of distraction was all Corvus needed. He disarmed her with a swift flick of his sword. Defeated, Malvexa vanished in a puff of sour-smelling purple smoke. Princess Aurelia and Prince Corvus returned to Solara as heroes. The tale of their thrilling adventure, their cleverness, and their bravery was told for years to come. And though Corvus was a prince once more, he and Aurelia remained the very best of friends, always ready for the next great adventure that lay just over the horizon.
Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Aurora Vale, there lived a gentle princess named Isabella. She was gifted with a magical power. Whenever she touched a flower, it bloomed brighter than the sun. The people adored her, for her gardens kept the kingdom beautiful and full of life. But in the dark mountains nearby, an envious sorceress named Morwenna hated Isabella's gift. She cast a curse over the land, turning all the flowers into stone. The once colorful kingdom became gray and lifeless. One evening, while Isabella wept in the garden, a mysterious young man appeared. He was Prince Elias from a faraway kingdom. He, too, had a secret gift. He could summon light from his hands, powerful enough to chase away shadows. "Don't lose hope, princess," Elias said kindly. "Together, we can break this curse." The princess and prince set off on a magical quest. They traveled through whispering forests, across glowing rivers, and into caves sparkling with crystal light. Along the way, Isabella's kindness won the friendship of a talking owl and a playful unicorn who joined their journey. At last, they reached Morwenna's dark tower. The sorceress laughed wickedly. "You cannot defeat me. My magic is stronger than both of you." But Isabella held up a single enchanted rose, the only flower left alive in the kingdom. With her touch, it glowed with pure magic. Prince Elias raised his hands, filling the room with blinding light. Together, their powers merged light and nature, weaving into one brilliant force. "Goodness and hope are stronger than your darkness," Isabella cried. The spell shattered with a thunderous boom. The stone flowers across the kingdom burst back into life, painting Aurora Vale with brilliant colors. Habble habble have, Morwenna disappeared into shadows, never to return. From that day, Prince Elias and Princess Isabella ruled side by side. Their powers combined to protect the kingdom. Wherever they went, flowers bloomed and light shone, reminding everyone that love, kindness, and courage are the greatest magic of all. And so, they lived happily ever after.
Sunlight pierces the crystal waters of Atlantica, revealing a coral reef bursting with life and color. Ariel's laughter echoes through the reef as she gathers treasures, her joy illuminating the underwater world. Flounder frantically trails behind, while Sebastian scuttles along the ocean floor, his stern expression a stark contrast to Ariel's exuberance. Sunlight dances through the crystal-clear water, painting the coral reef in radiant hues. Ariel follows the sound of soft crying to a small seahorse, alone and lost among the swaying anemones. "What's wrong, little one?" Ariel asks, her voice gentle with concern. After a long search, the echoes of cheerful whinnies lead Ariel, Flounder, and Sebastian toward a radiant sea cave. There they are. A chorus of seahorses celebrates, their tiny eyes sparkling with delight. "You're a true friend of the sea," the seahorse's mother declares, her voice filled with warmth as Ariel responds, "Helping others is the best treasure of all."
In a land where flowers could talk and trees swayed to music, there lived a kind and brave girl named Princess Rosalie. Princess Rosalie was known as the Rose Princess, for wherever she walked, roses bloomed in her footsteps. Red, pink, yellow, even glowing blue ones. Princess Rosalie lived in Blue Moria Castle, surrounded by lush rose gardens, playful bunny guards, and friendly butterflies who whispered secrets of the sky. But one day, the roses cried. One morning, the roses didn't bloom. The skies turned gray, the butterflies stopped whispering, and the birds went silent. A cold wind whispered through the land. "The colors are fading. The joy is sleeping." In the royal scrolls, Princess Rosalie read of a legend. Only the magical golden bird can bring back the colors of Blue Moria, but it lives in the hidden sky nest beyond the stormy mountains. Princess Rosalie took a deep breath, kissed her sleepy bunny goodbye, and set off on her adventure with her talking rose wand and a glowing lantern. Princess Rosalie. First stop was the Forest of Echoes, where every sound repeated itself except one. The forest was silent. Trees had no voice. Even the owls sat with puffed cheeks, unable to hoot. Suddenly, a little tree whispered, "The silence makes us sleepy. Sing us a song, Rose Princess." Princess Rosalie stood tall and sang a song of blooming flowers and warm sunshine. The trees swayed, the owls hooted, echoes returned. A path lit up before her. The forest had given her a glowing feather. "The golden bird will know this," said the tree. Next, Princess Rosalie reached the River of Riddles. The bridge was gone, and in its place stood a giant turtle. "To cross, you must answer," said the turtle, blinking slowly. "I have no mouth, but I sing. I have no wings, but I fly. I disappear with the sun. What am I?" Rosalie thought hard, then smiled. "You're the wind." The turtle grinned and formed a bridge from glowing stones. "Good luck, Rose Princess." As she climbed the windy mountains, black clouds swirled around her. "You'll never find the bird," laughed the wind. But Rosalie held the glowing feather close and whispered, "I believe in light, and I believe in friendship." Just then, oosh! A golden sparkle zipped across the sky. The golden bird appeared, caught in a cage of shadows on a rocky cliff. The bird chirped sadly, its light fading. Princess Rosalie ran toward it, but the shadows hissed, "Leave or lose your color too." Rosalie stood firm and raised her rose wand. "I give my color to save the world!" A giant wave of pink, red, and gold light exploded from her heart. The shadows vanished. The cage shattered. The golden bird flapped its wings and glowed brighter than the sun. It chirped a magical song, twirling around Rosalie, and kissed her forehead. "You were never alone," Golden Bird said. "Your kindness is the true magic." As Rosalie flew home on the Golden Bird back, a rainbow followed them. The flowers bloomed. The sky turned crystal blue. Birds sang. Butterflies danced. Back at Bloomoria, the kingdom cheered, and a rose bloomed on every rooftop. The Golden Bird made its nest on the castle tower, and Rosalie was crowned Queen of Courage and Colors. And from that day forward, whenever someone felt sad or gray, they'd close their eyes and whisper, "Rosalie and the Golden Bird, bring me colors today." And somewhere, a little rose would bloom. Long ago, in the sparkling kingdom of Luminara, there lived a kind young princess named Aria. She had golden hair that shone in the sunlight and eyes as blue as the summer sky. But what made her truly special wasn't her crown or her gowns, it was her heart. Aria loved helping people, whether it was carrying baskets for the bakers, feeding the palace swans, or telling bedtime stories to the children in the village. One evening, Aria's grandmother, Queen Ariel, told her a story. Long ago, the queen began, there were a pair of magical glass shoes. They were crafted from the purest crystal by the Fairy of Light. Whoever wore them could travel anywhere in the blink of an eye, heal sadness with a single dance, and make flowers bloom even in the snow. But they disappeared many years ago. Aria's eyes widened. "Where did they go?" "No one knows," her grandmother said, smiling mysteriously. "Some say they are hidden where kindness shines the brightest." A week later, on her 17th birthday, Aria was given a small, mysterious box from the royal treasure room. Inside lay the most beautiful shoes she had ever seen, delicate glass slippers that sparkled with tiny rainbows when the light touched them. A note lay inside. "For the princess, whose kindness lights the world." Aria slipped them on, and instantly, a warm glow surrounded her. She felt lighter than air, and with a little step, whoosh! She found herself in the middle of the royal garden without even walking there. Eager to test her new gift, Aria decided to visit the nearby Snowdrop Village in pride. "She's Aria!" began to dance in her glass shoes. As her feet touched the frozen ground, snow melted into streams of water. The earth softened, and tiny green shoots began to appear. In minutes, bright flowers and fresh vegetables sprouted all around. The villagers cheered. "The princess has brought spring to our winter." The days later, Aria learned that the crystal forest was in then. She realized the problem wasn't the weather, but sadness itself. The animals had been separated from each other after a storm blocked their paths. Aria began to twirl and leap gracefully. Her dance in the magical shoes released gentle notes of music like silver bells. The animals lifted their heads, their spirits rising. Slowly, color returned to the flowers. The birds began to chirp again, and the paths cleared, reuniting the animal families. One morning, a shadow covered Luminara. A huge dark cloud swirled above the kingdom, bringing strong winds and covering the sun. People couldn't see, and the plants began to droop. Aria knee up close. She saw the cloud was made of tiny shards of sadness from all over the land, gathered together by an old, forgotten magic. She began her most powerful dance yet. Each step sent out waves of light, breaking apart the darkness. Her glass shoes sparkled brighter and brighter, until the cloud burst into thousands of glowing fireflies that drifted peacefully across the sky. When she returned to the ground, the people of Luminara clapped and cheered. They begged her to keep the shoes forever, to protect the land. And so, the princess who once dreamed of adventures became the guardian of joy and hope for her kingdom. Whenever someone in Luminara saw a sudden bloom of flowers in winter, a patch of sunlight on a rainy day, or a rainbow at night, They whispered, "The princess must be dancing in her magical glass shoes."
Far away, beyond the tallest mountains and the coldest clouds, lay the Crystal Valley, a land where winter never left. Snow blanketed the hills like soft marshmallows, icicles sparkled like glass chandeliers, and the rivers were made of shimmering silver ice. In the middle of this snowy wonderland stood Frostlight Palace Prince, the Snow Princess Fairy. She had wings shaped like snowflakes, hair as white as freshly fallen snow, and eyes that sparkled like frozen lakes under the sun. Princess Elara had a special gift. She could control the snow and ice with a flick of her silver wand. But she used her magic only for good, making sledding hills for children, decorating the forest with frost patterns, and creating warm, glowing snow lanterns at night. The Winter Star Festival. Every year, on the longest night of winter, the Winter Star Festival off. But one year, something strange happened. It was the morning of the festival, and Elara was preparing her gown of snow petals and her crown of frosted silver leaves. Suddenly, a white dove swooped through her window, its feathers dusted with frost. "Princess Elara! Princess Elara!" it cried. "The winter star is missing. It never appeared in the northern sky." Elara gasped. "That can't be. Without the winter star, the valley's magic will fade. The snow will turn to bitter ice, and the gentle winter will become a storm." She knew she had to act quickly. Taking her wand, she called upon her two loyal companions, Neva, Frostwing, a silver-blue owl who could fly faster than the north wind. They set off through the Whispering Pines forest, where the trees hummed in the wind. The air grew colder and sharper. "The magic is already fading," Elara murmured. Along the way, they met a family of foxes huddled together for warmth. "The streams are freezing solid," said the fox mother. "Something is wrong with the winter." Following a trail of shimmering frost left behind by the star's light, the group reached the ice cavern of echoes, a place where every sound bounced back 100 times. Inside, the walls were covered with frozen crystals that glowed faintly. There, in the deepest chamber, they found the Frost Goblin, a small, grumpy creature with icicles in his beard. He was polishing something in his hands, a faintly glowing shard of the Winter Star. "Why do you have part of the Winter Star?" Elara demanded. The goblin frowned. "I didn't steal it. Last night, the star fell from the sky and shattered. Pieces scattered everywhere. I found this one, but the rest I don't know where they are." Elara realized they had to find all the pieces before the night ended. With the goblin's help, they traveled to Tea, where a shard was trapped inside a block of ice. Elara melted it gently with warm snow magic. The snowstorm peaks, where a shard was guarded by a mischievous wind spirit who only gave it up after Elara promised to send warm breezes to the mountain animals. Tea, where the final shard lay beneath the water. Neva dove in bravely, bringing it back up before it could sink into the deep. With all the pieces in her hands, Elara placed them in her crystal goblet. She spoke the ancient winter spell. "Star of frost, star of light, shine again in the sky tonight. Warm the heart, protect the land, glow with magic in my hand." The shards floated into the air, spinning faster and faster until they became one whole glowing star again. With Frostwing carrying it high, they returned to Frostlight Palace. That night, the people and creatures of Crystal Valley gathered. Elara placed the Winter Star on the highest tower, and its golden light spread across the land. The snow became soft and sparkling again. The bitter cold faded and joy filled the air. The festival went on until morning with dancing, music, and sweet snowberry pies. And from that winter on, the winter star never went missing again. Long ago, beyond the Silver Mountains, there was a hidden kingdom called Lunaria. It was a place of wonder, where glowing flowers lit the night, rivers sang with music, and fairies danced in the skies. In this kingdom lived a kind princess named Saraphina. She was unlike any other princess because she carried a gift: the ability to speak with fairies. Her best friend was Elara, the crystal fairy, who sparkled like a star and carried magic dust that could heal anything. But one day, a dark sorcerer named Malvorn stole the crystal of light, the heart of Lunaria. Without it, the kingdom began to fade, the glowing flowers wilted, the music of the rivers went silent, and the fairies lost their power. Princess Saraphina, with her courage, set out on a quest to restore her land. Along the way, she met Prince Kale, a brave adventurer who could command the winds with his sword. He joined her, promising to help bring back the light. Together, they faced enchanted forests full of whispering trees, crossed bridges guarded by trolls, and solved riddles given by talking owls. Each step tested their kindness and bravery. At last, they reached Malvorn's shadowy fortress. The sorcerer laughed, swirling darkness around them. "You cannot defeat me. The crystal of light is mine." But Seraphina held out her hand to Elara, the crystal fairy. With a burst of courage, Elara sprinkled her shimmering dust, and Kale raised his sword, calling upon the power of the winds. Their magic combined with Seraphina's pure heart, forming a brilliant rainbow light that shattered Malvorn's darkness. The crystal of light returned to its place, glowing brighter than ever. Lunaria bloomed once again, the flowers sang, rivers sparkled, and the fairies danced freely in the skies. The people of Lunaria cheered, and Princess Seraphina was hailed as the bravest of all. She and Prince Kale became protectors of the kingdom, ensuring that kindness, courage, and friendship would always shine brighter than darkness. And from that day on, Lunaria remained the most magical kingdom in all the lands.
One peaceful evening in Arendelle, Elsa stood on the castle balcony when she heard something unusual, soft whispers floating through the night breeze. "Elsa, come find us," the voices called gently. Elsa frowned. That wasn't the wind. Anna, munching on chocolate nearby, tilted her head. "Whispers? In the wind? Sounds like an adventure to me." Olaf popped up, excited as ever. "Oh, maybe it's the chocolate fairies calling you. Can I come too?" The next morning, the sisters set out, following the mysterious whispers into the enchanted forest. The deeper they went, the stranger things became. Trees that glowed with moonlight, flowers that hummed like lullabies, and streams that sparkled like stars. Suddenly, a silvery wolf appeared, but instead of growling, it bowed its head. "Queen Elsa, Princess Anna, the Forest of Dreams needs your help." The wolf explained that the forest magic was fading because the dream crystal, a gem that kept imagination alive, had been stolen. Without it, children everywhere would stop dreaming at night. Anna gasped. "No dreams? No bedtime adventures? That's terrible." Elsa placed a hand on her sister's shoulder. "Then we'll bring it back." The wolf guided them to the Cave of Echoes, where they faced 3 magical trials. The Bridge of Vanishing Light. Each step they took made the bridge disappear. Anna bravely held Elsa's hand and said, "Trust me." Together they ran and leapt, making it across just in time. The riddle of the singing owls. A chorus of glowing owls blocked the way. They asked, "What is stronger than fear, but gentle as snow?" Anna thought hard, then smiled. "Love." The owls hooted happily and let them pass. The shadow of doubt. A giant shadow rose, whispering, "You are not strong enough." Elsa took a deep breath, remembering Anna's courage. With a wave of her icy magic, she formed a shield of snowflakes. "We are strong together." At the heart of the cave, they found the dream crystal, glowing faintly in the claws of a sleepy shadow dragon. Instead of fighting, Anna softly sang a lullaby, calming the dragon. Gently, Elsa froze the shadows away, and the dragon returned to being a harmless little lizard. When they placed the crystal back in the forest, the trees lit up like fireworks, and sparkling dreams floated back into the sky. That night, as they returned to Arendelle, Olaf yawned. "I think I'm already dreaming," and fell asleep standing up. Anna giggled. "Another adventure saved, thanks to us." Elsa smiled warmly. "And thanks to love."